So apparently, Golden Boy Promotions could be off the DAZN platform. You know, shout out to Drew. He tagged me to a post. I'm going to post it for you guys here. Apparently, Golden Boy Promotions has inked some kind of new deal with a platform called Swerve, I think it is. Swerve or some shit. And we've been talking a lot about this that Golden Boy's content offering on DAZN is not so much that there's a real reason to give them another deal. There really isn't a good reason to give them another deal. And I'll show it to you guys now. They've inked some kind of deal with a platform called what is it called? Swerve TV strikes multi-year partnership with Golden Boy Promotions to expand premium content offering. MW2, what it do? Luis, what it do? I don't know if this means that Golden Boy is now off the DAZN platform, but it could mean that because we know that they were waiting on, they were trying to negotiate a new deal. They didn't deliver the Virgil Ortiz fight, right? There was too much infighting and too many problems. So now I'm wondering, are they off the DAZN platform? Because if they are, this could be the end of them. This could very well be the end of them. I never heard of Swerve. That's one of those oddball platforms like Fubo and Pluto that I don't even know how those things are financed because I don't know anybody who watches them. So if Golden Boy just struck a new multi-year deal with Swerve, right? What is Virgil gonna be fighting on there? Ryan? Zerto? Is that where we could watch Benavidez versus Zerto on Swerve? Manny, Floyd, De La Hoya triple threat ladder match. Winner gets their debt erased. Yeah, they're gonna need some shit like that. We've been talking a lot about it. I've been talking a lot about it. That Golden Boy's content offering is not such that there is a real reason to give them another deal. When you look at the depth of their stable and what fighters they have one or two good ones, one or two really good ones. But they're not really big draws. The only one that qualifies as a draw is really Ryan. Virgil is not yet a draw. He doesn't really move the needle like that. Neither does Zerto. The most value that you get out of Zerto is putting him in the ring with David. Shout out to Drew. Look at your DM. They went with a network with only 5 million in revenue based in LA. Maybe quick deal to show that what? That's not a bad shout. Maybe that was a play to keep Virgil on board, but it says multi-year, Drew. Multi-year. Bruh. If Golden Boy is really off the zone, bro, because the other angle of this, a lot of the movement in boxing when it comes to the networks and subscription packages has been painting a picture where it makes absolutely no sense to subscribe to their ultimate tier. That why would you pay them $400 and you don't even know what you're getting? And Drew, I held off on it where normally I'm on board. I sign on. I held off on that because I'm like, no, I'm not going to give y'all double what I've been giving y'all, and I don't even know what I'm getting. And the way that things are looking now, Tyson Fury's ring return is not going to be on DAZN. For all I know, Anthony's ring return will also not be on DAZN. The fight between them will probably not be on DAZN. I was watching Chan's video, and Chan is already experiencing buyer's remorse because she signed on to the ultimate tier, but now she's realizing, wait, there's a whole thing of fights that I'm not going to get, that I didn't even have to sign up for this for some of these fights. And that's the shit I was talking about, that how am I going to give y'all double the money and I don't even know what I'm getting? I don't know what I'm getting. Now, apparently, I guess we're not going to get Golden Boy. Thank God someone at Netflix is, yeah, for real, homie, for real. It just stands to reason to me that how could you ask people for double the money, but they don't know what they're buying into? So now DAZN is looking like a hot potato. Like for the first time, I have to say that no, that's not value for money. That is not value for money. And I've been a big supporter of DAZN from the moment they debuted in this country. I was probably one of the first content creators to get the yearly subscription because it just made sense. But now I'm looking at it like, nah, this is starting to not make sense. This is starting to not make sense. If you're not going to get Tyson Fury, and you may not get Fury versus Joshua, and you're no longer getting Golden Boy promotions cards, okay, what are you buying into? Granted that Queensbury sort of fills the gap because since, from the time they debuted in America, they've added Queensbury to their content offering. But you have to figure that for an American consumer, an American in particular, well, that's not necessarily a good substitute because Frank's cards are primarily in the UK. Even if he has a fantastic stable of fighters and a great heavyweight offering, most of that stuff is UK stuff. You needed something that is specifically for the Americans. And then you say, oh, well, they've got Matchroom. Yeah, but Matchroom has what? Bam, Pacheco, Boots, Bam, Pacheco, Boots. And do they even have Bam? Is the other thing. Do they even have Bam? Do they? Bam, Pacheco, Boots, Ammo. Who's their other American fighters, man? Omari Jones. Is it Omari? Yeah, they got Omari Jones. They may have Keyshawn Davis. They might get him, but it's like that American offering is not strong enough for you to say that if you're an American, you're gonna pay either 225 or foreign change so that you can watch Pacheco, maybe Bam, one or two Boots fights, and an up and comer in Omari Jones and Ammo Williams. Like, nah, that doesn't make sense. Not for an American. Now, if you're a Brit, it makes sense because you've got all the Frank Warren stuff. You've got the Queensberry, all the Frank Warren Queensberry stuff, and Matchroom has a lot of. They still have a lot of British fighters. You've got Dalton Smith, you've got Jack Catterall, you've got Leo Atang, you've got Lee Wood, you've got Josh Warrington, you've got who else? Who else? Because they got a lot of British fighters. Their British stable is actually very deep. Shout out to Drew. Turkey, Dana, and Nick Khan are smirking when they say, wait for what we really announce. Paramount got 1 million new. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. The UFC is really driving numbers for them over there. They're really driving numbers for them. And like I said, a diverse catalog because the zone stable is so Matchroom's stable is quite diverse. Then you add the Queensberry shows, which are primarily for Brits. You needed something on there specifically for an American audience. You needed something on there to diversify the catalog. And as much as I think Oscar is a bumbling fuck up, right? He is a bumbling fuck up, and his stable is not the strongest. It was still content specifically for an American audience. You're talking about Virgil Ortiz, Ryan Garcia, a lot of Mexican American fighters. You say, yeah, that is specifically for Americans. If you take that away, you have to replace it with something. You do. Like, I understand not giving them another deal if they don't give them another deal. I do understand that rationale, but you got to replace them with a top rank then, or I dare say a PBC. Like, yeah, because you need something that is specifically for this audience and this market. And Matchroom, they don't do all American shows, not all the time. Some of those shows are Australian shows. Some of those shows are in Saudi. Some of those shows are in the UK. You now don't have a reason to be charging Americans specifically so much for content. It doesn't make sense. That shit is wild, bro. And and I hate to say it because I've been a big supporter of DAZN since 2018. I've been subscribed, but it's looking more and more like, nah, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to give y'all. Maybe I might give them the 225 in May because I'm paid through May. So I might give them the 225 in May, but the more I look at it, it doesn't make sense to give them $400 or 400. Like, no, dog, y'all bugging. What ultimate tier, homie? Tyson Fury ain't even part of that package. What ultimate tier? That shit doesn't make no fucking sense. Shout out to Johnny Blaze. Uh, DAZN probably making that money from soccer and don't care about boxing anymore. If it's not AJ or Canelo, in my opinion, and that's a great shout, Johnny. That we don't even know that Canelo's fight. We don't know if that fight is going to be on DAZN. For all we know, Turkey worked it out to where it's on Netflix. For all we know, so then you sign up to this ultimate tier, and what the fuck are you getting? That's why I told Chanathy I love her. I love her. She's got a great rack. She's real good looking. But yeah, I didn't sign up to that ultimate tier. No, no, sir. Because I don't even know what the fuck I'm getting. Now I know I'm not getting Tyson Fury. I may not get AJ. If Bam leaves Matchroom, that's one less guy, right? Canelo's next fight could be on Netflix. His last fight was on Netflix. Yeah, they fucked up, man. They fucked up, you know? I want to kind of hold off on talking about Gervonta Davis being arrested because I want to do an episode of the relay on that. You know what I mean? I kind of want to cover that on the relay, but I'm just looking at the zone right now and I'm thinking like, yeah, man, they're fucking up. They're definitely fucking up. Shout out to Drew. No office has realistic yeah, the critics have no realistic alternative for Zuffa. You're absolutely right, Drew. You're absolutely right. For all of the pearl clutching and bleeding hearts and oh, we're worried about fighter pay, Brody, there is no alternative right now. There's no alternative. PBC has maybe one fight on the calendar, and it's a pay-per-view. And it's all the way out there at the end of March. So that means if you're a boxing fan, PBC didn't give you any cards in January. They're not going to give you any in February. And you have to wait basically almost till April before PBC does a show. Top Rank, well, they have one show in January, one. And hey, it's free. So that's fucking awesome. But what about February? What about March? What about April? You know? So you look at the American landscape, and it's very obvious that boxing as it has been is in distress. And you can't now complain, oh, but Zuffa's doing this. Brody, Zuffa's giving you one card per month, a minimum of one card per month. And they're signing fucking fighters like gangbusters, bro. So right now, if you're a boxing fan, Zuffa is meeting a demand that the other promoters are not filling. Shout out to Dana White. Shout out to Nick Khan. Mr. Tibbs said, you mentioned a few weeks back, DAZN will likely get bought out by a larger platform. I agree. They can't sustain like this. Yeah, that I said, DAZN may be absorbed by an Amazon, for example. They may be absorbed by an Amazon so that Amazon can diversify their content catalog and so that they can have more live sport. They may get absorbed by an Amazon or maybe, I would hope a Netflix or something like that. Because the way that things are going, there is no justifiable reason to give these people $400. 200 I can still do. But I know that the average person is not like me. The average person is not going to want to kick out $200 for just Matchroom and Queensbury. I could tell you that right now. The average person, we're talking about a boxing fan. We're talking about people who keep up with this sport, not moochers, not digital shoplifters, but actual customers. I can tell you that actual customers are going to look at that content offering and say, nah, there's not enough there for me. There's not enough there for me. Oh, well, I got to kick out 200, 400 for Jazza Dickens versus Anthony Kakache? Really? Really? I'm sorry, man. I've loved DAZN. I've been a big supporter of the platform. I think they gave us a lot of really, really great fights and memorable fights, ups and downs. If you really think about it, some of the biggest fights in boxing have happened on DAZN. Some of the biggest upsets, Cambosos versus Lopez was on DAZN. Ruiz versus Joshua was on DAZN. Dubois versus Joshua was on DAZN. We've gotten some really, really Great fights on DAZN. But now it's starting to get to a point where this doesn't really make sense, man. It doesn't, it just doesn't. You need something specifically for Americans. It won't work without that. I know that Golden Boy is a bit of a shit show. I know that their stable is not that deep, but you could always say that their content was happening at an ideal time for an American audience. That, yeah, it's not in the fucking afternoon. It's not early in the morning. It's in the ideal time, especially if you're in the East Coast. Their cards are on the West Coast, but if you're in the East Coast, Golden Boy cards tended to happen earlier than top rank cards, and the cards would wrap earlier than top rank cards. The way the shit is now, I'm like, yeah, what are you expecting? Americans to pay more than the Brits for mostly British content? Because it's mostly British now. Shout out to Drew. Networks seeing a mill, new subscribers in one day will want to be in the TKO business, absolutely, and try to facilitate and help them do the same for boxing, absolutely. Stout observation from the Capricorn, Drew. Shout out to Mr. Calderon. It's hard being a boxing fan right now with how much it costs. Yeah, that's the problem that it's facing. That you can't justify it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm a big fan of that platform. I have been, but you can't warrant charging people that much, and they don't even know what they're getting. They don't know what they're getting. They're not getting Boots versus Ortiz. They're not getting that. They're not getting Boots versus Ortiz. They're not getting Tyson Fury. They may not get Fury versus Joshua. They may not get Joshua. If Netflix kicks out a big sum to bring him back to their platform, bro, you know? Have you seen the new sign? Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I knew about some of them. I spoke to Amanda about 2 months ago, 2 months ago, and she told me about a lot of those signings, particularly the Puerto Rican girl from Philadelphia. I'm a big fan of that little Puerto Rican girl. Liana Cruz is her name. She fights at Superfly, same division as Jasmine Ortega. She's great. I've been watching her fights for at least 2.5 years now. That was a fantastic signing. I really like that they signed Miranda Reyes because Miranda's a lot better than her record suggests. She's kind of cute too, so that also helps. Um, um, I'm gonna get into it. I don't want to get into it here because I want to save it for the relay. But I did already know about some of those signings. Like, I knew they were trying to sign Tiara. I knew they were trying to sign Liana Cruz. I don't know that Brazilian girl. I got to look into that. But great signings, very good signings. And I'm going to cover that in the next episode of the relay. I'm going to try to do maybe two at a time. Shout out to Drew. Golden Boy Promotions wants us to swerve for classic fights that are free on Drew. Yo, that fucking sentence is pure comedy, right? Like, yeah. Let's sign on to Swerve so we can watch the shit we can already watch on fucking YouTube. Fucking ridiculous, bro. Fucking comedy, bro. It's comedy, bro. It's comedy. But Drew, does this indefinitely mean that Golden Boy is off the zone, or is it that the zone gives them a new deal? Hear me out. The zone gives them a new deal, but it's not for the same money, so they had to make up the difference with somebody else. Could it be like that? Or does this mean indefinitely that they are off the platform? Bruh, shit is crazy. Shit is crazy, bro. Shout out to my man Troy Duck. How Anthony get that fight over Ray Ford when he ducked? Bro, yo, the Anthony Kakache shit makes me sick, Troy. That shit makes me sick because you literally dropped your IBF to avoid Sugar Nunez. If you get Jazza Dickens as WBA, he's not gonna fucking unify with anybody. He's not gonna unify with anybody. He's gonna fucking stay over there and be over there and be over there. It's such bullshit. But because I'm a boxing fan, I know that Kakache versus Dickens will be a fan friendly fight. Like, will the fight be worth a watch in the afternoon? Yes, because Anthony's an action guy and he's got some size. Like he could fit right in at 130 because he was very big at he's a big guy. He's a big guy. He's a big kid. He's got a lot of fucking size. And it's a good little fight, but it would be a lot better if it led to something. And I feel like Brody, he gets that fucking he's gonna beat Jazza Dickens. He's gonna beat him. But it's not gonna lead to anything. And that's the problem that I have with that fight. Um and yeah, man, this is not good. Like you gotta wonder if I really wonder about the future of DAZN beyond this year based on how the cookie is crumbling. That is, look, they can stay afloat because they still have two very big promoters. The two most dominant promoters in the United Kingdom are on DAZN. And we know that the Brits do pay for their boxing. They do watch their boxing and they do pay for it. So you might be good over there. Over there you might be okay. But here in America, like, nah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. You're gonna kick out between 2 and 400 for Ammo Williams, Diego Pacheco, maybe Bam, Boots once or twice a year. This is what that doesn't make sense, dog. Country, what the fuck?
What's up, Jules? Man, dude, I'm glad you mentioned you were talking about the zone because I know I canceled it, right? I go back
Canceled?
there and check. I go back and check, and my shit was still subscribed. And then I had to go through like
Wow.
4 different stages. No, wait, we have an offer.
But country, okay, so okay, you unsubscribed from DAZN. My question to you is, what are you gonna do now? Are you gonna do like, okay, I'm gonna do this month, but I'm not
It
locked
says
in. Are you?
it says I'm good until February 2nd or whatever, February 2026. So I'm just gonna go until then. I already canceled, and then after that, I'll just stream their shit. Fuck them. I'm not paying them four hundred
Wow.
dollars. I'm not. I
No,
got
you're not. I
that's
mean,
too
I
much
said
money.
that you're not wrong. You're not wrong that if you're saying, look, you get a fucking Paramount subscription. It doesn't cost, yo, dog. It doesn't cost you $200 at the end of the fucking year. It does not, bro. You get a Netflix subscription. It doesn't 200 and change. While I can do it, and I have been doing it for years, it is on the pricier end of the streaming spectrum. It absolutely is, and that's not counting the pay-per-views. That Brody, there
Well,
are bigger.
that's the issue. I mean, like you're charging what 400, and then you want to charge for the pay-per-views on top of
Well,
it?
no, no, no.
Are
It's
you
no because
fucking
no
out your
because
mind?
it's because it's not like that. It's more like it's either you kick out the extra for the pay-per-views or you pay the 400 so you don't have to, but paying the 400, Brody, you don't even know what the fuck you're getting. You
Yeah,
would have, like somebody would have signed on. Oh, well, I want to see that Fury versus Joshua, or I want to see Fury's fights. Well, you ain't gonna see them now, bro. He's off the fucking Netflix, which
yeah.
is cheaper than his own.
That's like buying a car, and then the guy says, "You know what? It's cool, but you can't test drive it." You know what I mean?
Shit is ridiculous. Shout out to James. Hi from Spain. I bought the Zone Premier upgrade package for 1 year last month. It feels a bit risky, but I felt there was not much choice at that time. I couldn't do it, bro. I didn't do it, James. And this what you're seeing now is why I didn't do it, because I didn't know what the fuck I'm buying. You're literally charging me 2 times more than what I'm already paying, and I don't even know what the fuck I'm buying into. That's why I didn't
Yeah.
get it. Shout out to Junior Spack. Spack, what it do?
What's up, dog? How you doing?
Ain't shit, man. Over here bitching about the zone that they bugging out.
What's up, brother? Welcome to the panel.
Thanks, country. Yeah, man. I want to join in on this. I want to bitch too, man. Fuck the zone. I'm
Yeah,
pissed
they
off.
they they're fucking bugging, bro. And tu sabes lo que, maning? That on one end, for us, for me, for country, for you, it is a good thing if Netflix wants to get down. It is a good thing actually, because many of us already have Netflix and it doesn't cost nothing. And boxing being on that platform, which I've said to no end, boxing's profile will shoot up because Netflix has something that we lost in the advent of the streaming era, and it's that everything is niche. You know, the people that want movies get movie apps. The people that want sports get sports apps. So you don't get that spillover that you used to from channel surfing. You don't get that anymore. That maybe there's a casual boxing fan. They're flipping through the channels. They see somebody getting their fucking ass kicked, and they say, "Oh, I want to watch this shit." Right? Guy's getting his ass kicked. You don't get that anymore because DAZN can't advertise their content to anyone who doesn't already have the app. The only people that know, the only people that are gonna fucking know, oh, Murtazaliev versus Kelly, yeah, that's people who already have the app. If you don't have the app, you don't have no fucking idea that fucking fight is happening. You have no idea that the one at night, the one with Shakur and Lopez, same shit. It's a great card. Oh, yeah, it's a great card, but you're not gonna know about it unless you have the app. Whereas on Netflix, Brody, you put something on Netflix, every fucking body knows about it. The mailman knows about it. The neighbor, the fucking cashier. Like, yeah, it's common sense, and it's good that fights are ending up on Netflix. But at the same time, gracias a Dios that I didn't get that fucking ultimate fucking homo package. Like, nah, I said no. $400, bro. That's 2 times what I'm paying. Nah, and I don't even know what I'm buying. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah, and also too, if they're gonna give you like fucked up fights that really don't belong on pay per view, and you don't know it until the last moment when they say it, what the fuck? Then you're getting ripped off. It's like fuck.
And the 2 fights, there's 2 really good fights on the calendar right now, and they're not pay per views, by the way. I like Murtazaliev Kelly. I like Italma Franklin. I like Nunez Navarrete. Great fights. But you notice that those are not pay-per-views. Those are regular fights, not pay-per-views. So once again, for what fucking reason should I have to kick out $400 when some of the better fights you're putting on aren't even pay-per-views? Some of the better fights, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's so ridiculous right now. Like when it used to be $5 a month, that shit made sense.
Yep.
But I was still concerned that it was really just a paywall for American fans. Like if I go to the grocery store right now and I just pick out a random person, I say, "Hey, do you know what DAZN is?" 99% chance nobody knows what the fuck DAZN is.
Exactly.
Right? And let alone are they going to be willing to pay that shit. I just wanted to chime in on that shit too with the subscription stuff. I canceled my shit several months ago. They wouldn't let me cancel, man. That shit pissed me off. I'm real careful about not getting in like 1-year contracts, but somehow they wrote me up in that shit. So I canceled my debit card, got a new one. Long story short, my account's still good, but I'm not getting charged. So fuck DAZN. I'll just keep
Yeah,
free
I've
riding while
heard
I
that
can.
I've heard that they make it difficult. They make it difficult for you to leave if you want to unsubscribe. And I haven't had a reason to. I'm not one of the guys who's bounced in and out. I've been consistent since I think late 2018 being subscribed to them. But I'm looking at it now, bro, and I'm like, yeah, for an American specifically, it makes no sense. It doesn't. And tú sabes que Golden Boy, or ellos tienen su defecto. They have their flaws, but it was still something that was specifically for Americans. And if you don't even have that now, all you got is basically a lot of British shit. Which, yeah, I like the Brits. I think we all watch a little bit of British boxing, but that's not enough to tell somebody, yeah, yo, you got to pay 200 and change for Kakache versus Dickens. You could suck my dick 200 times, is what you could do. You could do that. That don't make no sense. Shout out to Drew. Top Rank will be the last old guard to stand before TKO buys them. We'll see, because TKO's making a lot of big moves. I like a lot of the moves that they're making. I don't know that they necessarily take over all of boxing. I've said this already. I think what they can dominate is the American boxing space. I see that if they're going to take over something and dominate something, it will be the United States. They can take over that. Britain, nah, I don't see it. Asia, nah, I don't see it. Australia, nah, I don't know about all that. And definitely not Mexico. Mexico, yeah, you're not taking over Mexico, bro. They got so much down there. They produce so many fighters down there. Like, nah, you're not taking that over. But here, because the network situation is so bad, yeah, they could take this over. They very well could. And DAZN is intended to be the only one who can really push back because they've got more time in the game. And, they've got Frank, they've got Eddie, they've got experience on their side. But the way that y'all are doing things, yeah, it's not going to work. It's not. Frank Warren, God love him, his cards are good, but they're British cards. Those are British cards, bro. That's not for Americans. And Eddie only periodically does an American show. Only periodically. The one he's doing this one, it's in Britain, bro. Kelly versus Murtazaliev. All that's in Britain. You can't compete with them with just Ammo Williams, Diego Pacheco, Omari Jones, maybe Bam if you could get Bam to stay, and Boots. That's what you got. You got 5 guys. That's what you got. You're gonna need more than that, Eddie. I gotta call him. Somebody gotta get me Eddie Hearns' number. I gotta talk to him. I gotta talk to
Dude,
him. Like, yeah, you fucking
what
up.
what the fuck is Swerve? I mean, I
Bro,
ain't never heard of that.
for those of you that are just coming in, apparently, if you missed it at the top of the show, Golden Boy Promotions has just inked a multi-year deal with a platform called Swerve. I've never heard of these people. I've never heard of them.
And simultaneously, Golden Boy's building is going into bankruptcy, right?
Right?
How hard is it really going to be for TKO to take over when Top Rank's on Tubi, Golden Boy is damn near in bankruptcy, and DAZN is behind a paywall, hiding out on an island of boxing over there in England, man? I think the writing's on the
Exactly.
wall here, dude. TKO
It
takeover.
kind of is. In America, we can say that, like, yeah, they've set the board to take over boxing in America because you just said it yourself. I was gonna segue to it. If Golden Boy is fucked up in the game, you know what the fighters are gonna do, bro. The fighters are gonna do what I said. They're gonna go where the fight dates are. They're gonna go where the money is. You see people talking about, oh, the contract, Brody. Money talks, and they have money and they have fight dates. To the fighters, that's everything. To the sanctioning bodies, that's everything. Without money and fight dates, boxing doesn't fucking move. Period. It doesn't move. And who has that in abundance? Zuffa. They got that. They got plenty of that.
If these fighters, if they choose to hang out on top, if they choose to hang out with Top Rank, Golden Boy, etc., they're gonna be forgotten. You know what I mean? They're gonna be left in the dust, and the public's gonna move on to the dudes that put in 3-4 fights a year.
Yeah, because right now the position that Golden Boy Promotions is in, also, you have to think a year from now, 2 years from now. If you cannot update your roster of fighters, which is also a huge factor, whether or not you can accommodate new talent, because a fighter 3 years ago may not mean shit today. Look at Tim Tszyu. 1 year he was the next hot fucking shit. Next year he's getting beat the fuck up by Russians and Cubans, or Mexican Cubans, because I forgot what Sebastian Fundora is. Shit in boxing happens fast. A fighter that was cool yesterday is nothing today. So you need that ability to accommodate new fighters. As your old stable gets stale, you need to be able to bring in new talent. Who the fuck is gonna want to go to Golden Boy to fight on fucking Swerve? What even is that? I wouldn't know where to find that shit, bro.
Right.
I'm saying it now, country. I'm not getting another fucking ad. Like, no, I'm not getting fucking Swerve, bro. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Swerve is like on the level with like Tubi and shit. Like, you're like, what? You know, you hear the name.
Is it free?
Who?
If it's free, if it's free, I might get it. But if I gotta pay anything, if I gotta fill out a form, if I gotta tell, I'm not giving you my last name for no fucking Swerve, bro. I'm not doing it. Fuck that.
If the DAZN is a paywall, Tubi and Swerve are just like this weird dark corner of the internet, where it's like, bro, you're just out there hiding. Like, I don't get it, man.
You know,
I don't
Tubi,
fucking
Tubi,
get it.
I'll give Tubi a little bit of credit because I only ever heard jokes about Tubi up until recently. I only ever heard jokes about Tubi, from people that the movies there are very silly. When Top Rank got the Fast channel, I downloaded Tubi and I looked at their library. They've actually got a lot of movies on there, movies that I know cost something. You understand what I'm saying? Movies that cost something. And then I watched The Craft because I always wanted to have sex with Nev Campbell and the chocolate girl. This I always wanted to fuck that chocolate girl because she's got big legs. And there was a lot of commercials in that shit, like a lot of commercials, and they have money. If you go to a platform and you see a lot of ads, they have money because they get money for those ads. So don't be surprised if in the next 2 to 3 years, I don't know if Top Rank will still be there, but don't be surprised if Tubi turns out to be a respectable platform inside of 2 to 3 years because all of those ads that featured on I watched like 2 3 movies on there. They had some good old movies. I rubbed one out to Nev Campbell during the fucking movie because I fucking love that broad. um
But
you gotta rub one out, man. You gotta release some tension. um there was like a trillion commercials in that fucking movie, bro. Like there was mad and if you know how this works, you know that all those ads they get paid off for that. The same way that we do as YouTubers, the same way that we do. They get paid off for that. So if you're seeing a fuck ton of ads, that means Tubi's little by little they get in bank little by little, so don't be surprised. But yeah,
yeah,
man,
that's a bad thing.
but yeah, man, like I'm running out of reasons. I'm good through May, so I still have a lot of time. And what happens from now till May might actually dictate whether or not I even keep the annual. Like literally, it might. Because the way I see it, for me to keep the annual, I need to know that there are 2 to 3 good free cards in the month that don't cost anything extra. You've already established that you're going to do like a pay-per-view a month, right? That I may or may not buy. But I need to know for me to keep the year that you're going to give me a Matchroom show, a Queensbury show that doesn't cost nothing extra, especially if you just gave Golden Boy the boot, especially because that's less content for me. I'm giving you the same or more money, but you're giving me less content. That's not gonna fucking work, bro. That is not gonna fucking work.
Oh,
Fuck
okay.
that shit.
Question. If Golden Boy goes down the tubes, right?
Hmm.
What becomes of Oscar? I mean, does he try to stick around boxing? Does he try to like join somebody else to still work with him boxing, or does he just fade off into oblivion and
Well,
become like a drug addict? A worse adult drug
no.
addict than he already is.
I mean, you remember Rock Newman, right, Country? You remember Rock Newman?
Yeah,
Guys go away, bro. Guys go away. I mean, look,
yeah.
like Don King is a more obvious example because everybody knows Don King. But I bring up Rock Newman because unless you were there and you lived it and you remember the boxing from that time, for those that don't know, Rock Newman was with Riddick Bowe. Um, Guys disappear, man. The promoters of yesterday, yeah, Bob has been around for a millennium. Yeah, sure, he has. But
Fluid.
there were other promoters there. Like, unless you lived in the era where Dan Goosen was around, you wouldn't know that. You would have never heard of him, right? And and unfortunately, Dan died. It's not like he just faded away. He died. But what I'm saying is, empires rise and fall, bro. Maybe it's just Oscar's time. I don't see how you can sustain with the way shit is. Like, I don't see how, homie. How? Doing what?
Yeah, like another guy who faded off into oblivion was Butch Lewis. He was
Butch
around with
Lewis,
Don. Yep, he
Mick.
disappeared too.
If you're a Brit, Mick Hennessy. Mick Hennessy was Tyson Fury's first promoter. He also promoted his cousin Luke. And Mick had his time where he was doing fairly okay, but and he didn't die. His daughter's fighting this weekend, for those that don't know. Francesca Hennessy is Mick Hennessy's daughter. But little by little, his promotional outfit, just went away. Barry McGuigan, and Shane McGuigan, Cyclone Promotions. Yeah, little by little, the shit just faded away. You know, it happens more often than people realize. Now, if it happens to Oscar, given how long Golden Boy has been around, oh my God, they've been around for over 20 years, bro. Some of the biggest
Yeah,
fights in boxing. Some of the
yeah.
biggest fights in boxing. It would be bigger than those situations because whether you like Oscar or you don't like Oscar, Golden Boy Promotions has been a fixture in boxing for well over 2 decades. For well over 2 decades. A lot of Canelo fights, a lot of and fights in between, you know? Like, yeah, they're major. If they go under, yo, you know. Shout out to Jose G. What's good, Jose?
Yo, what's good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh shit, what's going on with Golden Boy? I just saw that right now.
Manin, manin, mira esta vaina. Mira esta vaina.
Everything and anything, man.
Mira esta
Dude,
vaina.
Yeah,
if I
we're
was
pretty,
if I was consulting for Golden Boy, I'd tell them tuck tail right now. Go get in bed with Dana while you still have some legitimacy, while you still have a stable.
Yeah.
Because if you wait 2-3 years, you're going to get pennies on the dollar.
dude.
I've
You
seen
know,
That ain't gonna happen. And the
they're
reason why is because
like
Dana's got so
their
much.
back is what I would have recommended, except I wouldn't have recommended it now. I would have said it a year ago. Listen, you need to partner up with the PBC. You need to do a merger because you're stable and they're stable
yeah.
by themselves. They're weak. But if you get together, you actually have a strong stable. You get together, you pitch yourselves as a package to a network, as a package. Golden Boy by itself, no, there's no. What the fuck are you gonna sell, dog? Ryan is the best guy you got in terms of marquee value. That's the best guy you got, but he don't even fight like that. You know, he don't even fight like bro. That dude fought once last year and he lost, and he only fought once the year before that, and it was the steroid whatever, the Osterin whatever. It's like you can't rely on him. If you guys get together and you form an alliance, whether you do it with PBC or you could do it with Top Rank, you could go talk to them like maybe we need to partner up, we need to get together, and we need to pitch ourselves as a package to a broadcaster because we can't stand alone. The alternative is we go under. You know, like yeah, that's the alternative. We go under. We both go under. But if we join forces, maybe we can last a little longer. Because like Top Rank has more. You know, Top Rank does have a deeper stable, and Top Rank has connections that Golden Boy doesn't have. They have connections to Ohashi in Japan, Camila Stefan in Canada, Fernando Beltran in Mexico, right? And they're they're fake cool with Frank Warren too a little bit. So those connections and their stable and their catalog, they got a lot more going for them than Golden Boy. Golden Boy is like, yeah, you guys are fucked. You're fucked. Well, what are you gonna show us? The classic Alexis Rocha fights? The classic Scrappy Ramirez fights? What are you gonna show us? What is he
Oscar spent
good?
so much time beefing and talking shit with Dana, though. I don't think Dana would touch him with a 10-foot pole. I mean,
Honestly,
seriously.
yeah. That's a good shout too. That why would Dana do him a favor after all the fucking shit he was talking? But this is the news, Jose. They inked a multi-year deal with a platform called Swerve. I never heard of them. I wouldn't even know where you go to get to watch that shit. And we know that the zone did not renew their deal. They were trying to renegotiate. They had a draft. That's what Oscar said, and I didn't believe him. Like, Brody, you gonna say that? You gonna say we negotiating? You gonna say we got a draft? Is the deal done or not? And no, the deal was not done. And it's like I said, that Boots fight with Virgil, that was important. That was important for the zone because they asked you to do it. Never mind if you think the fight is big or you think the fight is small. Never mind any of that. The zone asked you to do something and you didn't deliver. Period. So they're looking at you like, okay, bro. So you haven't delivered us a big fight since Canelo was with you. And Canelo hasn't been with you since 2019. So what the fuck do you have that we should give you a budget? What do you have? Ryan,
Hey,
I
Julie,
guess. Good.
James from Spain asked you a question. He says, so do you think that this Swerve deal gives Oscar De La Hoya Golden Boy more leverage now to retain their promotional agreement with Virgil or it doesn't matter now?
I think it doesn't matter because Virgil already filed suit. You understand that it's established that at the time that Virgil tries to achieve free agency, Golden Boy didn't have a broadcaster. They didn't have a broadcaster. When he filed suit, yeah, you didn't have nowhere for me to fight. If you get a deal after that, yeah, that's awesome for you, but I want to leave. And it's established that in this time frame, when I filed this lawsuit, you didn't have a broadcaster. So I'm out of here. And I mean, could you imagine, country, Virgil gonna be fighting on Swerve?
No, no. And that's the worst part about it is the two guys that they allegedly have, Ryan and Virgil, both want to leave. You know
Right?
what I mean?
How many more fights does Ryan have before he gets the fuck out of Dodge? How many more fights does he have? So
Right.
it's bad. It's bad. You know, and it doesn't have to be that way because I've long maintained that Oscar has the brand trust. People know him. And you know, he's got the lineage, he's got the legacy that Brody, you should have been the king of American boxing as far as promotion. You should have been the king, but you are such a fucking dickhead, bro. Like, what are you doing, bro? You should have been the king of this shit. Hey, you know, empires rise and fall, bro. They rise
Too
and
many
fall
lies,
like the wheat.
too much ego, and too much bullshit, and like acting like a kid, beefing with people instead of fucking concentrating on what he should have been. You know?
And burning bridges because you were beefing with Eddie where y'all shouldn't have had no beef because y'all both on the same platform. You beefing with fucking Dana when Brody, you should have buried that hatchet a long time ago. You know, you draw more flies with honey. If you cool with Ed, and if you cool with Dana, network, fuck some of the same bitches, get some blowjobs, work it out. Nah, I'm a beef with everybody. I'm gonna just beef with everybody and do stupid fucking videos on Thursdays. Fucking dickhead, bro. You a fucking
Well,
dickhead.
That's what
Oscar
drugs do
showed
to you.
me. Oh, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, man,
No,
that's
yeah,
what drugs do to you. They ruin your fucking critical thinking skills, right? You just go around doing
fucking
dumb shit.
yeah. You know,
I mean,
and you because there's high there's high functioning cokeheads, you know, that they get a lot of, you know, sometimes the coke helps them, get a lot of shit done. But Oscar, you just a dickhead, bro. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, homie. You just a dickhead. You fucked up the Canelo shit. You fucked up the Ryan shit. Now you fucked up the Virgil shit. It's like, yo, dog, you just a dickhead. Like, yeah, you just a dickhead, homie.
well, the
Period.
perfect illustration of that is look how he acted with Canelo all this time after he left. He couldn't
Yeah.
let the shit go. He kept relentlessly attacking him and dragging it on. Canelo had already moved on.
You
Oscar's
know,
over here like
he should have never lost Canelo that way. The way that he lost Canelo is so asinine, country. You already have a deal with Canelo that is established. You can't then go to the zone and renege on that deal. He picks who he fights. That's in his deal. You can't then go to the zone and say, yeah, yo, you could tell him who he gonna fight. That's what fucked it up. That's how Canelo was able to get away. You can't, I got a deal with you that predates the deal you got with them. You can't now go to them and tell them they gonna tell me what to do. Fuck out of here. That never had to happen. But he's a dickhead. Like, yeah, you a dickhead. You could have, because Canelo is the man. Remember, they go into the deal 2018. Canelo Alvarez has just had the second fight with Gennady Golovkin that did over 1 million pay-per-view buys. So you got the best guy in America, right, to sell pay-per-views. DAZN would have took the deal as it was. Like, listen, we got Canelo, but this is his deal. He decides what he does. That's the deal he got. DAZN would have been like, you know what? Bet. We'll take it the way it is. Bet. You being a fucking dickhead, you promised them a Golovkin fight. Brody, you can't promise them that because that ain't even up to you. That's up to Canelo if he want to do that. You can't promise them that, but you're a dickhead. And you do dickhead shit. And here we are. Here we are. Fucking dickhead, yo. I guess we gonna see Benavidez versus Ramirez on Swerve, fellas. Y'all about to get that Swerve?
Oh shit.
Jose, you
Wow.
gonna
I'm
get
watching
that Swerve?
Super.
You not gonna get that Swerve, homie?
Hell no.
He's like,
Yeah,
Fucking Swerve for. I'll
you
swerve
can
to
hear,
Zuffa. Fuck
yo,
you
you
mean?
can hear that in his voice, like, man, get the fuck out of here. You get that bullshit. Get the fuck out of here, yo.
you know what? That's
Fucking
what we're gonna do.
Swerve.
We're gonna swerve that channel and go watch
That's
something
exactly
else.
what the fuck we. And the shit is, look, I'm a boxing fan. Like, I am a boxing fan, but like, homie, I'm not getting another fucking app. I'm telling you that right. No, I'm not. If that shit costs anything, no, I'm not. No, I already got Paramount. I've been
I
paying.
just
I
bought that
already
too.
had. I already had Paramount for the movie shit. I'm already giving. I already gave the Zone 200 and change. I'm paid through till May. I got HBO. I got a bunch of apps on my shit. I'm like, nah, I'm not getting another one, homie. I'm not. No, Swerve. That shit better be free. If it's free, I get it. Other than like, nah, I ain't doing that. You bugging. Hell
And
no.
I know I know y'all don't like talk about UFC, but like that night of that UFC fight this weekend, bro, they had like millions upon millions of views for that fight, bro.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
what I
the
heard.
night of, they said they gained like I think like 2-3 million new subscribers.
Yeah, yeah. I saw it. I got the clipping that. And bear in mind, they ain't been there that long, homie. Ain't that
Nah,
crazy?
fool.
They
That's
ain't
what
been
I'm
there that
saying.
long. They
And
just got over there. They just did their first UFC show. Million subs, million new ones.
for real.
Bro.
And then they got the new
Wow.
Zuffa fight coming up. I think this weekend, no, with
Sunday,
Ryo.
Sunday. Yep, Sunday.
And then they got
It's like,
another one in March or some shit.
bro,
Yep.
it's yo, I'm saying, real is real. Pero también tú sabes lo que? We said it last night because that was the theme of last night's live. La vaina con el boxeo, there's people that want the chaos, that they don't want regulation, they don't want order. And it's like, Brody, boxing can't go on the way that it has been. Like, it literally cannot, because all the network money's gone. So y'all don't want, there's people, y'all don't want Dana to come over here, but yo, dog, to America, Dana might be all we got. That's not cap. Dana might be all we got. PBC has maybe one show on the calendar. Top Rank only has one show. Golden Boy just went to Swerve. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like,
But
so
but
what you gonna watch?
but Jules, you're not hyped for Fundora versus Thurman? Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, Joe. I've been waiting for that fight all my life.
I'm so hyped, bro.
75, 99, bro. For Keith Thurman. Yeah, yo,
Hey,
you know what? Hey, yo, they got a lot of fucking nerve, bro.
this is
75.99.
isn't this like the third time they try to make this fight?
Yeah, because they were
What
supposed to do it last year. Yeah, this
is
third
it?
time.
Oh my goodness! But is it true that they're gonna have Richard Torres and Frank Sanchez on that card?
That's confirmed because the IBF canceled the purse bid for them on the premise that they reached a deal to fight on that show. Pero maning, should we have to pay 75.99 para ver Richie Torres? Que vaina es esta, man? This is fucking nuts, bro. We used to watch that guy on ESPN Plus, $9.99 or whatever the fuck the shit was. Now I gotta pay $75.99? Yo, y'all got
Why?
I
the
gotta invite
fucking
the whole
nerve.
black over for that fight.
Why
I
am
gotta
I
fall
gonna
off.
fucking pay $75.99 where in the fucking press conference Thurman had to grab a chair and stand on it so he could be face to face with Fundura for the face off?
Well, the shit
I'm
is that
sorry,
Thurman.
but
The shit is that
no.
Thurman is not a relevant fighter. Thurman is not a relevant fighter to this era that we now in. That you should pay extra to see him. He's literally not a relevant fighter. He don't sell tickets. Nobody's excited about him. He's fucking old. He doesn't have a belt, right? And Sebastian, look, God bless him, but you not box office and you never will be. You not box office and you never will be. You don't belong on pay-per-view. A lot of motherfuckers don't belong on pay-per-view. That's established. So the idea we gotta pay almost $100 to watch y'all, yeah, fuck out of here, homie. Get the fuck out of here.
At
That's
least fight
crazy.
Virgil, bro.
I'm saying, bro, like the shit, the situation is bad, and that's why a lot of the videos I did is talking about how, you know what, we need Zuffa. You may not like Dana White, you might not, you know, you may not trust his brand or whatever the case, but do we need the guy? Oh yeah, because he's all we got in America. He's kind of all we got. I like Eddie Hearn, I like Matchroom, but you could run down Matchroom's American content offering, just the Americans, it's not that much. Pacheco, Bam, if Bam even stays, Ammo, Boots, the young kid that he just signed, Omari Jones, and I think that's it. I think, yeah, what other Americans you got? You got Brits, you got Russians, you got this, you got that. But Americans, you don't have that many. So for America, yeah, we might need Dana White. We might.
And the thing I liked about Dana White and the whole Zuffa thing is that, like, people are probably saying, like, oh, he's being cheap to these fighters. But nah, I think he's just being realistic. This is how much you draw. This is how much you're worth. If you don't like it, okay, go somewhere else.
Bingo.
That's the shit I've been saying the whole time. Okay, all these boxers, a lot of these boxers have been overpaid. Yeah, you get paid more than your fight generates, and that's not sustainable. So if Dana White is not saying no, we're gonna control the fucking spending. We're not gonna be kicking out that kind of money to these. Yeah, that's what needs to happen, because that doesn't just lower the costs for them. It also lowers the cost for us. Why do you think we pay so much? Everything is a fucking pay-per-view. Every fucking thing. For guys that don't draw like that. Yeah, it has to stop. It has to stop. Now, look, fellas, I'm going to take my afternoon nap. I'm going to take my afternoon nap, and I'm going to go live again later on today. So y'all come back. Y'all come back round, and I'll see y'all on the next one.
Have a good one.
Take care, y'all.
I appreciate you, Ring. All right, talk to you later. Yep, bye.